Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, iRacing fans from around the world, welcome to our Monday Night Mania session here tonight. We are at Michigan. This is KMA TV with KMA Racing, and I am Scott Kolovic, your announcer for the evening. Tonight's race proudly brought to you by GW Graphics. We've got Gary Whitmer Jr. and Gary Whitmer Sr. both joining us out here tonight, so it's always cool when the sponsor of the evening's race is able to attend that race, and even cooler when they can win. And I tell you what, Gary Whitmer Jr. is absolutely no stranger to the winner's circle. Hopefully he'll have a good night out here tonight at Michigan. We've got some great weather we're looking at here tonight. Nice cool temperature, 75 degrees, zero humidity, zero wind. Michigan, 2-mile track. It's got the look and feel of Talladega, but Talladega it is not. We've got 11 top-notch drivers out here tonight ready to get it on and battle it out. Taking a look up on that first place position, we have got Lee Staples pulling down a 37.928 side by side with John Woodruff with a 37.979. Edward Bray in third position with a 38.009, and Chris Hogue 38.016. Pretty good times falling in tonight here at Michigan. Fifth place position, we've got our sponsor for the evening, Gary Whitmer Jr. Dave Acacia sitting off in sixth position. Jason Russo, our sponsor for Tuesday nights, back in seventh. Gary Whitmer Sr. back into eighth position, followed by Lee Ryerson Jr. and Gary Burt. Joel Guy in 11th, Kevin Scott Nelson in the rear of the field in 12th position. All right, we have got a lot of racing to get out here and get done tonight. 125 laps tonight on this 2-mile speedway. Going to be a lot of fun. But you got to remember, folks, something very important here. These guys are indeed racing for points. Right now, Edward Bray, Lee Staples, Jason Russo, Gary Whitmer Jr., our top four with just 4 weeks of racing. Now, we're combining points up into the Monday and Tuesday races, so technically this will be race 5 of 14, week 3, first week of the race. And next week, folks, we're going to be heading off to a road course. It's going to be very interesting to see how things tied out on a road course. These drivers, they are commonly left turn only drivers, but every now and then you got to mix it up, throw them into a road course. Coming to you live next week on KMA TV. Lee Staples leading that pack out here tonight with a very good start in front of his teammate Edward Bray. Gary Whitmer's Jr. side by side with the 117 of John Woodruff. Number 6, Chris Hogue in tow with the 14 following up his heels. Number 20 and 125, David Casia and Lee Ryerson mid-pack. Big shout out there to Joel pulling for the 117 tonight, and Karen out there on the KMA TV chat rooting on Lee Staples. Lee Staples off to a very good start tonight, but being overtaken for that lead by his teammate Edward Bray. Edward Bray and Lee Staples both representing Black Talon Racing. And as I said, folks, they are into positions 1 and 2, but here comes Gary Whitmer Jr. in the points, position 4. Gary Whitmer needs an extremely strong finish, and he needs to get ahead of Lee Staples and Edward Bray in tonight's race to overtake them in the points race. With only 9 races left to go, these top 4 drivers are only separated by about 12 points. That's a pretty tight lead right there, tell you what. Lap 2 of 125. Always nice to see when a race starts out on a very high and positive note. Here comes Chris Hogue, inching his way up to the number 5, but then backing it off. Side by side with Jason Russo, but right there, that is how wide this track is, ladies and gentlemen. You could easily fit 6, possibly 7 of these Xfinity class cars around side by side on this track. Lots of racing room. Right now, that field has singled out to straight line formation. David Casey in the number 20. Get a little bit of action going on. Saw some great videos at the beginning of tonight's race. Those videos made by Dave Acacia. Not only does Dave race, Dave makes videos. Oh, we've got driver down off of that track. No caution is flying. Unfortunately, that was the number 6 of Chris Hogue, taking a bit of a licking on that wall. Fortunately, we do have backup Xfinity class in the hauler. Chris will get out there, get it fixed up and repaired and back out on that track. Edward Bray leading lap 5 of 125. Lee Staples back into second position. Gary Whitmer in third place. Got to take it easy out here in Michigan. There's no sense to get any scurry. Scurrying's going to cause you to worry. And then you're going to end up getting into a scuffle with the wall with another driver. But here comes that number 14, Jason Russo. Jason Russo on the move tonight. Jason Russo, Gary Whitmer Jr. side by side. Big shout out there to the number 14 Napa and the number 5 N29 Natalie Decker. Gary Whitmer Jr. huge fan of Natalie Decker. Huge supporter of PAD, People Against Distracted Driving. The N29 Natalie Decker driven by Gary Whitmer Jr. all over the hills of the number 64. 64 going for a pass on the number 66 of Edward Bray. Side-by-side racing tonight out here at Michigan. But here comes Jason Russo. What a battle we've got going on for the top 4, ladies and gentlemen, in race 5 of 14 in our Monday Night Mania Tuesday Night Truck Series tonight at Michigan. Lee Staples wanting to get a few more laps in. He's only led one out here. Tonight's race has been dominated by Edward Bray as of yet. But I'm telling you, folks, we're going to keep a very, very close eye on the number 5 of Gary Whitmer. Checking in with the 117 of John Woodruff. John Woodruff's got some fans out there on the KMA TV chat. 117 John Woodruff right now into position 5. Started out in second place, losing 3 spots. John Woodruff with a fast lap of a 38.464. Last lap of a 39.065. Already, those tires starting to fall off. Drivers are going to have to keep that kind of information in check as they would like to begin some green flag pit stops come along about 38 to 42, I do believe, is their pit window. 125 of Lee Ryerson right now in 6th place, utilizing the rearview mirror of John Woodruff. John Woodruff having a very close eye on Lee Ryerson Jr. Lee Ryerson in heavy traffic with the number 20 of Dave Acacia. Lee Ryerson driving the PAD Xfinity Chevy Camaro. Big shout out there to Lee Ryerson for supporting PAD, People Against Distracted Driving. Lee Ryerson very focused tonight in the PAD Camaro, keeping a close eye on Dave Casey in his rearview mirror as he comes alongside the 117 of Johnny Woodruff. Johnny Woodruff in the Nationwide is on the outside of Lee Ryerson. Lee Ryerson taking position for 5th. John Woodruff in the Nationwide is on your side, Xfinity Camaro. Dave Casey onto his heels in the DeWalt Camry. Dave Casey representing DeWalt FlexVolt. Number 91 of Joel Guy, a military veteran. Big shout out there. Joel Guy showing his support for the military. Number 223 of Kevin Scott Nelson in the Northern Lights Sled Dog Rescue, coming up on the outside of Joel Guy. Kevin Scott Nelson onto the outside, following the lane of 117 of John Woodruff. John Woodruff still side by side with the number 20 of David Casey. And it looks like Kevin Scott Nelson is wanting to make a move. John Woodruff and Dave Casey side by side, racing for position 6. Joel Guy in 7th. Kevin Scott Nelson sitting back in position 9. Tighter than a hair in a biscuit on the pass with Johnny Woodruff onto Kevin Scott Nelson. They were tight right there, ladies and gentlemen. Big shout out there too, Over the Top Paints and Designs. Beautiful paint job on the Sled Dog Rescue. Being driven by the 224 of Kevin Scott Nelson. Lee Staples leading 8 laps. Leading lap 14 of 125. We are caution free here at Michigan in our Monday Night Mania. Edward Brace started third, has led 6 laps, currently is in 2nd position. Just about a half a second off of Lee Staples. Here in Michigan, that half second is not much, but it is enough to lose a race. Lee Staples started first, is in first, and has led 9 laps. Lee Staples running the fast lap of a 38.191. Lee Ryerson up to 3rd place position. Lee started out here tonight in 9th position, working his way very boldly up through this field. Currently is in 3rd, running at 183, 185, up to 190, topping out at 196, 197, still on the move, topping it out at 197, dropping it down to 168 as we enter the apex at the corner here at Michigan. Lee Ryerson, a man on a mission in the 125 pad Camaro. We've got Camrys, we've got Camaros out here. Pick your favorite vehicle. David Casey started 6th, currently is in 5th, up 1 position. Side-by-side action with Johnny Woodruff and number 5 of Gary, to the number 52 of Gary Whitmer Sr. A few seconds back, 10.4 seconds back off of our race leader, Lee Staples. Here at Michigan at 10 seconds, that can be quite the length of track to come back from. Gary Whitmer might be in a little bit of trouble looking for a win tonight here at Michigan. Johnny Woodruff, Gary Whitmer Jr. doing a very nice battle here on lap 18 of 125. 7.1 and 6.9 seconds back respectively off of our race leader. Johnny Woodruff looking for a pass on through the inside. Gary Whitmer Jr. guarding. 117 looks like he may have a run. Down onto the apron. Big run coming for the 117, but can he hold it? Gary Whitmer Jr. picking it back up into speed. Johnny unfortunately not able to make that pass onto the number 5. Michigan actually one of those tracks you've gotta let out. Not a full throttle track like that, such as Talladega or Daytona. Takes a lot of time and many laps to make a solid pass out here in Michigan. A track of patience, a track of control. In-car action with Gary Whitmer Jr. .4 seconds back off of our race leader. Currently is in 8th position. Gary Whitmer, owner of GW Graphics, our sponsor for tonight's race. Making a big shout out there to Gary Whitmer and GW Graphics. Check him out on YouTube. Great videographer for KMA Racing and KMA TV. Puts together a lot of pad videos. Very involved with pad, people against distracted driving. Up one spot too, Joel Guy. Joel Guy definitely having a battle up here between Kevin Scott Nelson, David Casia, and Jason Russo. Joel Guy sitting in 7th position, trying to get a run on the inside, get a little bit of a run on the 224, holding it back on the outside. Can he hold it? Can he stick it? Joel Guy on the inside, side by side. Joel Guy and Kevin Scott. Very nice battle right there happening. Kevin Scott Nelson and David Casey and Jason Russo running forward, kicking asphalt. Kicking asphalt, sub-team of KMA League. Dave Casey, a recent winner. Jason Russo, no stranger to the winner's circle, nor is Kevin Scott. So I tell you what, do not count either of these 4 drivers down and out here at Michigan. Lee Staples having a very good night out here tonight. Lee Staples has strengthened that lead over Edward Bray by 1.9 seconds. Lee Staples up to leading most laps, with that being of 18. That little speck up there in the distance, ladies and gentlemen, we are looking outside the window of Edward Bray. That up there is Lee Staples, ahead of Edward Bray by 2.1 seconds. 2.2. Lee Staples is taking off tonight. Lee Staples looks like he wants to win tonight's race at Michigan very badly, and if he can come in ahead of Edward Bray by 3 spots, he may tie Edward Bray into the points. Gary Whitmer Jr. back into 9th position. Gary Whitmer Jr. needs to make his move as he's in 4th place in points. Jason Russo in 3rd place in points. 4th place in tonight's race. Same situation for Jason Russo. Jason Russo right alongside Gary Whitmer Jr. need to finish ahead of Lee Staples and Edward Bray, or that point spread will get larger and larger tonight. Lee Staples needs to finish ahead of Edward Bray by 2 positions in order to tie. What an exciting points race we have going on. Those race results and point results will be listed on Facebook Wednesday morning. You got to remember that Monday and Tuesday races, they're all wrapped up into one series. We run one track per week, 2 races. Tonight in the Xfinity class, tomorrow night in the trucks. Up from the blimp, that looks to be a mile of track sitting between Lee Staples and Edward Bray. Lee Staples up to 21 laps tonight. Edward Bray leading 6. Back in 3rd position with Lee Ryerson. 4th position, Jason Russo. Racing a little bit thicker going on. Jason Russo in 4th. Kevin Scott Nelson, David Casia, 2 teammates battling it on. Kevin Scott Nelson in 5th. David Casia sitting in 6th position. Kevin and Dave has advanced that lead a little bit from Joel Guy. A few laps ago, Joel Guy was right there within the mix of Dave and Kevin. Dave and Kevin stretching the distance out a little bit, but here comes Joel Guy. I think he just might have cut that distance right there in half. We should be about 10 laps out of, hopefully, green flag pit stops. And I tell you what, those green flag pit stops, that is what is going to separate the men from the boys out here tonight at Michigan. Very tight racing between Kevin Scott Nelson and David Casia. David Casia onto the inside, side by side. And here comes Joel Guy. Just a second ago, Joel Guy, he had quite the distance to catch up. And Joel Guy right back hot on their heels. And here comes Kevin Scott Nelson on the outside with a big run from David Casia. Here comes Joel Guy. Joel Guy all over the rear end of David Casia like a tick on a coon dog. Big shout out there to Joel Guy and his service with the United States Marine Corps. Edward Bray, a Army veteran. Chris Hogue, an Army veteran. Gary Whitmer Jr., Gary Whitmer Sr., currently 2 laps down. I do believe they just came out of pit row. 1 lap down. Possibly a good strategy on their end. Gary Whitmer Jr. in 9th position. Gary Whitmer Sr. sitting in 10th. Edward Bray, Lee Staples into pit row on lap 31. Lee Staples on that hammer getting out of pit row. Green flag pit stops have began. Kevin Scott Nelson, our current race leader. First round of pit stops happening there with the Whitmer father and son team, followed by Lee Staples and Edward Bray. Lee Staples on his way out of pit row. Around that track, out of pit row, up onto that track. Kevin Scott Nelson, our current race leader, makes his way into pit row in the Northern Lights Sled Dog Rescue. Right side, left side, full tank of fuel, clean pit stop, and away goes the number 224 of Kevin Scott Nelson, followed by the number 20 of Dave Acacia. Looks like the battle between Dave Acacia and Kevin Scott Nelson is about to continue, racing into pit row, out of pit row. I'll tell you what, the boys from Kick and Asphalt putting on a show, showing you what teamwork is all about. Same thing up here with Lee Staples and Edward Bray, though not quite as close, but Edward Bray is only 1.2 seconds back of Lee Staples. Jason Russo sitting in third, 2.8 seconds back. Lee Ryerson, fourth position, and his competition right now is the number 14 of Jason Russo. Green flag racing, ladies and gentlemen, tonight at Michigan in our Monday Night Mania series. Taking a look at our top five. Lee Staples, Edward Bray, Jason Russo, Lee Ryerson, and Kevin Scott Nelson, our top five here. Just about 1/3 of tonight's race. Lap 34 of 125.90, 1 laps to go. Lap times looking at about 37-38, range 38 seconds. Lee Staples with the speed of 189.90 and climbing as he hits onto that backstretch. 199, almost 200 miles per hour there at Michigan for Lee Staples, but having to severely back it down to 174, back up into the 180s, heading for that 190 mark one more time. Lee Staples, very, very consistent out here tonight. Taking a look at our 10th position, we've got Johnny Woodruff. His last lap of a 38.874. Currently in 10th position. Johnny Woodruff started out tonight's race in a second position. Very strong in qualifying beside Lee Staples. Right now has fallen back there to 10th position, and this pack has fallen to 10. But I tell you what, Nationwide is on the side of John Woodruff, and he's only 23 seconds back. That can be made up very, very easily in pit row. Johnny Woodruff sitting back in 10th position on lap 36 of 125. Gary Whitmer Sr., Gary Whitmer Jr. sitting in 9th and 8th position. Really cool to see father and son out here racing tonight. Big shout out there to Mom Whitmer. She's got to be very, very proud to seeing both of her boys, both of her men out here driving tonight. Gary Whitmer Jr. representing Natalie Decker in the N29 Toyota. Gary Whitmer Jr., tonight's sponsor. Big shout out there to GW Graphics. Joel Guy sitting in 7th position. Started out 11th, moving up 4 spots on lap 38. Joel Guy's last lap was a 38.740 with a fast lap of a 38.291. As those tires do fall off of these Xfinities, you will see your lap times slow down. A lot of rubber flying out here tonight at Michigan. Joel Guy sitting in 7th position. Dave Acacia, Kevin Scott Nelson still having that battle, that duel out here tonight at Michigan. But Kevin has stretched it out a little bit from Dave Acacia. Edward Bray, Lee Staples. Edward has caught him. Lordy, lordy, Lee, look in your rearview mirror. That is your partner, Edward Bray. Tell you what, Edward Bray must have been driving the wheels off of that Camaro. Going in cockpit with Edward Bray. Down onto that apron, coming up onto the side of Lee Staples. Possibly Lee Staples put a little bit too much speed onto it, wearing out those tires, losing a little bit of grip, because I tell you what, Edward Bray, he has got a run onto Lee Staples. Now this is a simple matter of the rabbit and the fox. Right now, Lee Staples is that rabbit. He is running for his life. Edward Bray, he's just running for his dinner. So the point being that the rabbit has got more on the line. Lee Staples might be utilizing that track pressure, putting too much pressure on those tires, but I don't know, Lee Staples is staying ahead of Edward Bray pretty darn well here on lap 42 of 125, and Lee Staples has led 34 laps out here tonight, so Lee Staples obviously knows what he's doing out here tonight at Michigan. Join us tomorrow night. Same track, same time, different vehicle. We're going to get out there tomorrow night. The Chevy Silverados and the Toyota Tundras. Always a lot of fun. A lot closer pack racing tomorrow night. The Xfinity class, they get spread out on these 2-mile track, mile-and-a-halfers. The trucks, a little bit lighter in weight, a little bit more top-heavy up there in the front. It's going to be a lot tighter racing tomorrow night. Almost guaranteed. Lee Staples leading his 35th lap of the night. 43 down, 82 to go. Caution free tonight. Drivers really focusing hard, doing a great job out here at Michigan. Next week, going to be a lot different though, I'll tell you what. Next week, we're going to be heading off to a road course track yet to be revealed. But it's going to be a lot of fun next week for the road course drivers. For the oval drivers, well, we don't know. A lot of drivers have been smart out there practicing. And I'll tell you what, we're going to find out next week who took the time to get out there and do the practicing. Edward Bray back to almost 1 second off of Lee Staples. Lee Staples was able to hang on to that lead. Some awful good driving in the number 64 Black Talon Racing Camaro. Jason Russo back into the number 3 spot, battling it out with Lee Ryerson in the 125. Jason Russo, our Tuesday night sponsor. Big shout out there to Pro Automotive. Pro Automotive out of Dudley, Massachusetts. ASC certified mechanics, foreign and domestic, emissions diagnostic, AC service, all makes and models. If you're up there in Dudley, Massachusetts, and you need a repair job, or just wanted to have your vehicle checked out, make sure it's safe, check out Pro Automotive. Check them out on Facebook. Pro Automotive offering daily tips, reminders, good stuff out there on Facebook from Pro Automotive. Lee Ryerson Jr. sitting back in 4th position, 2.9 seconds back off of our race leader, Lee Staples. Lee Ryerson in the 125 pad. I always love it when these drivers get out here and show their support for pad. Don't drive distracted. People against distracted driving. Lee Staples very close to the number 14 of Jason Russo. Getting a little bit of a run going on onto the outside. Now right here, we're going to talk about the track positioning. Taking a look at Lee Ryerson, doesn't seem to want to have a lot to do with that apron there, down there on that white line as we are coming around a driver in and out of pit row. You got the yellow line, you can't drop down right there. Gary Whitmer Jr. coming out of pit row. Jason Russo riding the track a little bit tighter than the 125 of Lee Ryerson Jr. Outside passes very hard to make out here at Michigan. There we're seeing Lee Ryerson starting to drop down. Lee Ryerson fading back up much higher than what Jason Russo did. Lee Ryerson dropping down a little bit, Jason Russo staying back up. Two completely different driving styles, and they seem pretty evenly matched out here tonight on lap 49 of 125 here at Michigan. Jason Russo taking the beat on the number 66 of Edward Bray, just about a second and a half off of Edward. Edward 1.2 seconds off of Lee Staples. Right here, ladies and gentlemen, this is your top three drivers, Lee Staples, Edward Bray, and Jason Russo, and they are also your top three in points. Here comes Lee Ryerson back into that picture. Lee getting a run. Lee maybe down to the inside. Lee very, very close to the number 14 of Jason Russo. And here comes the number 5, Gary Whitmer Jr. on fresh tires. Gary Whitmer Jr. 2 laps down, but I tell you what, look at this, ladies and gentlemen. We are 3-wide action here at Michigan. 2 drivers on the lead lap. Gary Whitmer Jr. wanting that pass. Gary Whitmer Jr. noticeably faster recently in and out of pit row. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the power of the tire. Lee Ryerson getting that inside door open side by side with the number 14 of Jason Russo. What a match we've got here between the number 125 and the number 14. Jason Russo with a run to the outside. Lee Ryerson back down low. Same position we were just a few laps ago. All that hard work there done by Lee Ryerson could not quite complete the job. But I tell you what, he tried very, very hard. Edward Bray still trying to chase down the number 64 of Lee Staples. Lee Staples leading 44 laps out here tonight. Now we're watching Lee Staples lead his 45th and probably 46th lap. Let's hear a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back with you. Big shout out there to GW Graphics putting together a beautiful pad commercial. Dave Casey putting together the Monday Night Mania commercial. Two great videographers there. Big shout out there to both drivers. Dave Casey currently in 6th position. Gary Whitmer Jr. 1 lap down into 10th. Our race leader of the night, man of the hour, Lee Staples, leading his 51st lap out here tonight. Edward Bray leading 6. Kevin Scott Nelson leading 2 at the pit change intervals. Lee Staples sitting at 2.3 seconds back. Edward Bray, Jason Russo, tight race between Jason Russo and Edward Bray. Jason Russo finally getting his way up here to the front. Nice battle between Jason Russo and Edward Bray. Side-by-side action. Very close contact between Edward Bray and Jason Russo. This is where you have to be extremely aggressive out here. We are almost to that halfway point. Edward Bray guarding against Jason Russo, fighting hard for his 2nd position. John Woodruff 1 lap down, coming out of pit row. But I tell you what, Johnny Woodruff, he's on some fresh tires, and he is knocking on the rear end of the number 14 of Jason Russo. Jason Russo knocking on the rear end of Edward Bray. He's got a run on that inside. Not quite enough. Trying to suck off every bit of draft he can off of the rear end of Edward Bray. And he's got the run. Although Edward Bray going into pit row, we've got green flag pit stops. Edward Bray and Jason Russo, Lee Staples are top 3 heading into pit row. Jason Russo a little bit loose in pit row, but what a save by Jason Russo. All right, ladies and gentlemen, in-car pit row action with the number 66 of Edward Bray. Jason Russo, Lee Staples in the pit row respectively. Edward Bray stop. Pretty sure he's going to take left side and right sides. We are at the halfway point of tonight's race. Green flag racing, 45 minutes. The heat is on, ladies and gentlemen. Lee Staples out of pit row, Edward Bray out of pit row. Ooh, Jason Russo may have incurred a 15-second penalty. That's going to hurt, ladies and gentlemen. Jason Russo should have been out of pit row with Edward Bray and Lee Staples. I think Jason must have tagged a penalty. David Casey making his way into pit row. Sliding through his pit box just a hair. Taking those right side tires. Kevin Scott Nelson taking right side tires. I tell you what, that's going to hurt kicking asphalt right there with Jason Russo getting a penalty. But it looks like David Casey and Kevin Scott Nelson are out. You know what? This is really going to come down to 2 sub-teams of KMA Racing. This is going to come down to Edward Bray, Lee Staples, and David Casey, Kevin Scott Nelson. Lee Staples in 3rd position. He could be the wild card in tonight's race. Edward Bray out there on that lead lap against Lee Staples. Got about a 1-second lead on Lee Staples. Edward Bray leading 6 laps. Edward Bray going to try to see if he can lead about 60 laps to go. Well, I tell you what, in order for him to overtake the lead lap count of Lee Staples, he's going to have to lead for the next 40-some laps. 47, 48. He will need to lead the next 48 laps in order to have led the most laps. You don't get anything for it. You get a lot of bragging rights, and it's a cool thing to say, hey, I led the most laps, but I tell you what, the only lap that matters if you lead is that very, very last lap. Lee Staples in second position, 1.4 seconds back off of Edward Bray. Lee Ryerson 4.2 back, positioning number 3 for Lee Ryerson. Dave Acacia 10.6 seconds back. Kevin Scott Nelson 18.7 seconds back. Possible Kevin Scott Nelson may have got a penalty too. Dave and Kevin pulled out at the same time, but Kevin has lost 8 seconds onto the rear end of Dave Acacia. Gary Whitmer Sr., Gary Whitmer Jr. back onto that lead lap in position 6th and into position 7th. John Woodruff into 8th position. And we've got another battle developing right here as John Woodruff comes around the number 5 of Gary Whitmer Jr. That'll put John Woodruff into 7th position. Lap 68 of 125 in our race 5 of our Monday Night Mania Tuesday Night Truck Combined Series M&M TNT. Edward Bray coming up, getting ready to put a lap down onto the 117 of John Woodruff. Once Ed comes around John Woodruff, he will be 1 lap down. John Woodruff fighting for his lap. Unfortunately, not enough rubber on those tires to make it stick. Edward Bray more on fresh tires. John Woodruff down to the inside, not giving it up yet. There goes John Woodruff, wants back onto that lead lap. Good hard racing here between our 1st place and 7th place position, Edward Bray and John Woodruff. Edward Bray down to the apron. Lee Staples battling with Joel Guy. Joel Guy 1 lap down. Lee Ryerson into 3rd place position, 4.7 seconds back. Kevin Scott Nelson sitting back into 5th position. Tonight's race has been brought to you by GW Graphics. Big shout out there to Gary Whitmer Jr., currently in 9th position. Edward Bray leading 13 laps. Lee Staples leading 54. Lee Staples 1.3 seconds back off of Edward Bray, battling lap traffic of John Woodruff. John Woodruff is the first driver 1 lap down. Joel Guy 1 lap down. Lee Ryerson into 3rd place position. Lap traffic between Lee Staples and Lee Ryerson. John Woodruff right now would love to see a caution, but we have been caution free out here tonight at Michigan. 5 lead changes, primarily between Edward Bray, Lee Staples. Kevin Scott Nelson, he's got 4 laps in lead. Kevin doing good in the sled dog rescue. Driving a Camaro tonight. Lee Staples holding steady at 1.3 back off of Edward Bray. These drivers will have to make one more pit stop out here tonight. We have seen penalties happen already. I do believe that Jason Russo may have gotten a penalty. Edward Bray, Lee Staples, Lee Ryerson Jr., David Casey, Kevin Scott Nelson are top five. Been a good battle between Edward Bray and Lee Staples out here tonight. .49 laps to go, lap 76 of 125. Drivers averaging about a 38-second lap out here tonight. David Casey's last lap was a 39.3. Tire wear being a definite factor out here tonight. David Casey up to fourth position, started sixth, 2 spots up for the number 20, Flex Volt DeWalt. Lee Ryerson Jr. started ninth, currently is in third. Our biggest mover of the night has got to be Lee Ryerson Jr. Pulling off a very nice race tonight in the 125 pad Camaro. Still plenty of time for Lee Ryerson to get her done, sitting at about 6.2 seconds back off of our race leader, Edward Bray. Kevin Scott Nelson in the 224 Sled Dog Rescue started 12th, led 4, currently is in 5th with a fast lap of 38.259. Kevin sitting at about 16 seconds off of our race leader. Gary Whitmer Sr. in the number 52 started 8th, currently is in 6th. As he is battling our race leader, Edward Bray. If Edward Bray passes, that will put him a lap down. Looks like Gary Whitmer may have a little bit of damage under the front right side. That'll slow you down every time. Gary Whitmer Sr. falls 1 lap down here on lap 79 at Michigan. Johnny Woodruff 1 lap down in the 117. Now John started 2nd place tonight, currently in 7th, 1 lap down. Not quite sure what happened to Johnny Woodruff, but coming in qualifying into 2nd position tonight. Possibly a huge surprise here and a shocker for Johnny Woodruff to be 1 lap down with 45 laps to go. Joel Guy 1 lap down, started 11th, currently is in 8th position. Gary Whitmer Jr. in the Toyota N29. Sporting out the number 5. Position 9 for Gary Whitmer Jr. Gary Whitmer coming up onto the 125 of Lee Ryerson. Coming up fast. Gary could very well still get those laps back. Gary Whitmer with a very nice pass onto the 125. A man on a mission. And the N29, Natalie Decker, Toyota. Five lead changes out here tonight at Michigan in our Monday Night Mania series. Caution free, very impressive race tonight. No collisions, no spinouts. Kevin Scott Nelson, position 4. Lee Staples, position. Lee Staples has fallen to position into position 8. Appears Lee Staples might be out of tonight's race. Not sure at all what happened with Lee Staples. But Lee Staples is out for the night. Disappointing night for Lee Staples. Not sure at all what happened with Lee. But I tell you what, he started out strong tonight. That'll put Lee Ryerson up to second position. Edward Bray leading his 27th lap. Edward Lee, Dave, Kevin, our top 4. Edward Bray in the number 66 Blacktown Racing Camaro. Lee Ryerson sitting at 7.6 back off of Edward Bray. Now, as I mentioned, we're still going to have to go into pit stop one more time, ladies and gentlemen. Penalties have been hard on the boys out here tonight. Penalties have thrown a few drivers a lap or two down. Part of racing is indeed nailing those pit stops. Kevin Scott Nelson, 14 seconds back off of our race leader. Already 4 drivers out for the night. Straight line formation for the drivers on lap 88. And I tell you, that gives you the presence of how huge this 2-mile speedway is. Resembles Talladega, but I'll tell you what, you get just a few drivers out here. Throw those penalties in there, and this huge, huge track becomes even larger. Edward Bray leading his 30th lap out here tonight. Kevin Scott Nelson 13 seconds back off of our race leader. Dave Acacia sitting at 10.2. We've got drivers coming in and out of pit row. Gary Whitmer in the number 52 making his way out of pit row. I do believe John Woodruff just came out of pit row as well. That will keep Edward Bray, Lee Ryerson, David Casey, and Kevin Scott Nelson. And into our top four. .34 laps to go, lap 91 of 125. Johnny Woodruff 2 laps down. Gary Whitmer Sr. 2 laps down. Gary Whitmer Jr. 2 laps down. Joel Guy 1 lap down. Some really nice paint jobs out here on this track tonight. Big shout out there to all of the painters. Lee Ryerson trying to close the gap onto the number 66. 7 seconds back with an impending pit stop still yet to make. David Casey is staying through with it. 9 seconds back. This next round of pit stops, ladies and gentlemen, is going to separate the men from the boys even more. And I'd say about pit stops here in Michigan, they're not real hard, but it's very easy to get a speeding penalty. A couple of drivers having not so good luck in pit row. Big run for Gary Whitmer Sr. in the number 52. But Gary Whitmer Sr. having a little bit of a crumpled up front end. Dave Casey making his way into pit row. Lee Ryerson making his way into pit row. Edward Bray into pit row. Green flag pit stops one more time here at Michigan. Edward Bray needs to get in and out, in and out, and in and out. Kevin Scott Nelson, our current race leader, as the cycle of pit row begins one more time. Out goes Edward Bray. Here comes Lee Ryerson and Dave Casey. In and out of pit row. Kevin Scott Nelson leading his 5th lap. Edward Bray, 29 seconds back off of Kevin Scott Nelson. Kevin will need to pull off the fastest pit stop of his life. Kevin Scott Nelson making his way into pit row. Edward Bray, 28 seconds back. Kevin is our current race leader. He's got to get in and out as fast as possible. Edward Bray, 27 seconds back and closing. 25, 24, 19, 17, 12. Edward Bray, our new race leader. Kevin going as fast as he can, but just not quite enough. And he's already 8 seconds back, 9 back. Kevin Scott making his way out of pit row. Lee Ryerson will jump up to second position in a phenomenal battle with David Casey. Bumper to bumper, nose to tail for the 125 and the 120. 20 tapping the wall. I saw sparks. David Casey wanting this very badly. We were talking earlier about guarding that inside lane. David Casey wanting that inside lane. He's going to go side by side with Lee Ryerson. David Casey one more time will drop. Gets the run. Lee Ryerson doing one hell of a job out here tonight. Ooh, and I spoke too soon. Lee Ryerson taking a hit onto the wall. That may slow you down just a hair. A couple of laps ago, David Casey met the wall just a little bit. We saw sparks, so it might actually even these two drivers out a little bit. Lap 98 of 125, 27 laps to get her done. 7 lead changes out here tonight. Race leader Edward Bray. And 29.5, Gary Whitmer up and out of the way. Lee Ryerson fighting hard for second. David Casey down to the inside. Lee Ryerson one more time guarding on the inside. Bray, Lee Ryerson, David Casey, Kevin Scott Nelson, our top 4. Johnny Woodruff, 1 lap down, first driver, 1 lap down in 5th position. Gary Whitmer Sr., Gary Whitmer Jr., Joel Guy, 1 lap down. Lee Ryerson coming up onto the rear end of Gary Whitmer Sr. in the number 52. Safe passage for Lee Ryerson. Lee Ryerson dropping to 11.3 seconds off of Edward Bray. Edward Bray leading 41 laps out here tonight. Kevin Scott Nelson, 17.5 seconds back, driving the wheels off of the Northern Light Sled Dog Rescue with 23 to go. Caution for each night out here at Michigan. Dave Casey, Lee Ryerson, the hottest battle we have on the track. Big run for the 20 and the 125 as they come around the 117. Johnny Woodruff 1 lap down. Bray leading 44 laps tonight, 21 laps to go. Lee Ryerson in second, David Casey in third, Kevin Scott in fourth. Kevin Scott coming up into the rear end of the number 52 of Gary Whitmer Sr. Gary Whitmer Jr. to the outside and Natalie Decker in 29. Gary Jr. having a little bit fresher rubber on the tires than the 224. And then number 52, big run for the 224. Flying around the number 52 of Gary Whitmer Sr. That is the difference of having fresh tires, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin down to the apron, trying to get as much momentum coming up as we head into turn 1. Dropping it down to the apex. Gonna lift up, driver out. Back up near the wall. Trying to get as much suction and draft as he can off of Gary Whitmer Jr. 16.3 seconds back. David Casey at Lee Ryerson still having a very hot battle for second position. Lee Ryerson in second, 12.6 seconds back off of our race leader, Edwin Gray. 18 to go. David Casey is still having plenty of time to work his way around Lee Ryerson. No hurry, no worry, no scurry. 18 laps to go. Plenty of time to get the job done tonight and get a second place out of this. Lee Ryerson, on the other hand, a little bit more on the defense. So what do you want to do here? Do you want to be on the defense? Do you want to be on the offense? Who has to work harder? Again, we were talking about the Fox and the Rabbit. Again, Dave is driving for a second place position. Lee is driving to defend his second place position. Which one wants it more? David Casey with a deep dive down to the inside, putting them side by side. David Casey on lap 109. What a move for the Xfinity Camry. But here comes Lee Ryerson tying back onto that outside. Lee Ryerson with another good run. Okay, with these drivers, they're just back and forth, back and forth. Great race between Lee Ryerson and David Casey. These boys have got to be having a lot of fun out there tonight. Taking a quick look at our running order. Edward Bray, Lee Ryerson, David Casey, Kevin Scott Nelson, our top 4 drivers. Johnny Woodruff, Gary Whitmer, Joel Guy, Gary Whitmer Jr., Lee Staples, Jason Russo, 2 drivers out. Gary Whitmer Jr. coming back up to play. I think Gary Whitmer Jr. right now may have a faster vehicle. Gary Whitmer Jr. and then Natalie Decker in 29. Just enough up there to cause a little bit of interference between David Casey and Lee Ryerson Jr. And you know, both of these drivers, they're wanting the help from Gary Whitmer Jr. just enough to distract the other driver, throw him off. Lee Ryerson with a dive to the inside. Dave Casey in a strong second position. Dave is coming. Dave is there. Dave in second position. 12 seconds back off of our race leader, Edward Bray. Edward Bray up in front. Edward Bray right now has pretty much got nothing to worry about. He's got to be feeling very confident with 13 laps to go. Basically, Ed needs to hold it together for about 7 more minutes. And tonight, he will have a win here at Michigan. David Case, Lee Ryerson battling it up for second position. Gary Whitmer Jr. trying to get some laps back. Kevin Scott Nelson in 4th position. Johnny Woodruff sitting in 5th, 1 lap down. I'm going to tell you what, the most exciting racing on the track right now, folks, has got to be the racing between David Casey and Lee Ryerson Jr. Although right now, Lee Ryerson is 1 second back off of David Casey, and David Casey is closing the gap on Edward Bray. With 11 laps to go, David Casey is actually closing that gap. He's got it down to 10.7. Well, I'll tell you what, it's a fine time to start moving, Dave. You should have done that about 10 laps ago, buddy. 10.6. I'll tell you what, he is trying to get tucked into the draft of the number 5 of Gary Whitmer Jr. Every bit of draft you can get out here is going to help. He's got it down to 10.2. Well, if he averages 1 second a lap, this thing could end in a side-by-side race between David Casey and Edward Bray. Lee Ryerson has fallen to 11.3 seconds back, just under 2 seconds back off of David Casey. The racing between David Casey and Lee Ryerson may very well have ended. David Casey 9.6 seconds back off of Edward Bray. Lap 116 of 125. Edward Bray has led 56 laps, topping Lee Staples, leading up 54. Caution free tonight, ladies and gentlemen. What a race it has been. We've seen many, many rounds of green flag pit stops tonight here at Michigan. Certainly hoping that tomorrow's truck race at Michigan will prove to be just as exciting. David Casey, he's got it down to 8.5, and he's averaging right now about 1 second per lap catching up to Edward Bray. If I were Edward Bray, I would keep a very close eye on my rear view mirror because Dave is coming, and he's got the number 5 of Gary Whitmer Jr. pulling him along. 8.3 seconds with 7 to go. Dave's going to have to step it up just a notch to get the job done tonight. But I tell you what, even so, a second place for David Casey, that would be phenomenal. As far as the points goes, this is going to hurt Lee Staples a little bit. It's going to widen that gap up. Jason Russo needed to finish very well tonight. Unfortunately, not being able to finish tonight's race, that's going to hurt him in points as well. Gary Whitmer Jr. will be moving up that point stack as of tonight. Points will be published Friday on the KMA Facebook page. David Casey making his way around Gary Whitmer Jr. with 6 to go, 7.9 seconds back. Not sure if Dave's got enough get up and go to get the job done. Edward Bray largely in charge with 6 laps to go out here tonight. Edward Bray, David Casey, Lee Ryerson, Kevin Scott Nelson, Joel Guy, our top 5 drivers. David Casey is sitting at 7.5. Gary Whitmer Jr. 2 laps down, still in it to win it. David Casey is getting it close, but not quite so sure he's going to have enough umption to get up there. We're running out of laps, down to 5 to go. 120 of 1 at 25. Caution free tonight out here at Michigan in the KMA Racing M&M TNT Series. 121 laps in. Lee Ryerson has lost 1 more position to that of Kevin Scott Nelson. That'll put Kevin Scott Nelson in 3rd place. David Casey in 2nd position. And Dave and Kevin, they've been riding together all night long. I told you earlier on in the broadcast that Dave and Kevin, teams for Kickin' Asphalt, that's going to be a really good finish tonight for Kickin' Asphalt. Kevin Scott Nelson looking at 9.8 seconds back. David Casey sitting at 6.9 back. Edward Bray, our race leader, with 3 to go. Just a couple of more minutes and Ed will win Michigan, barring a very late caution, which I do not see happening. 4 drivers on that lead lap. Joel Guy 1 lap down. First driver 1 lap down. 2 to go for the number 66, Edward Bray. Edward Bray currently leading 63 laps. Taking a ride around this 2-mile speedway. With Edward Bray, we are on 1 to go. Edward Bray holding a very, very nice, tight line. Keeping a nice distance away from the wall, back down towards the middle of the track. And look at that track, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of rubber spread down onto that track. Lap 124 of 125. Edward Bray larger in charge. That'll do it, ladies and gentlemen. What a run out here tonight for Edward Bray. Leading 65 laps. Edward Bray getting the job done very, very nicely out here tonight. That'll put David Casey in second position. Kevin Scott Nelson sitting back into third. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get some post-race interviews in with our drivers. How about it, Kevin? You got a copy?
What's going on, man?
Well, I tell you what, we went caution-free tonight at Michigan. What do you think?
Oh, this is one of my favorite tracks. I love going caution-free.
Well, I tell you what, we were watching that race going on between you and David Casey, your teammate there with Kicking Asphalt, very carefully. What was it like to be sitting up there racing that tight and that hard with somebody you know you can trust?
Oh, it was good. It was really good because I kept. I knew when he was going to let off, and that was everything. But I kept sliding through my pit stalls in my 3 stops. That didn't help. I think I would have been right there with Edward at the end if I didn't.
Now, I did get a chance to talk to a lot of drivers tonight because there were no cautions. But talking about pit row, were there penalties in pit row? I think there might have been a few.
I didn't hear anybody yell about penalties. I didn't get any.
No, oh, okay. I was pretty
But
sure that
nobody
Jason
yelled.
Russo may have gotten one.
I know he left the race when he hit the wall.
Ah, we were wondering up here in the booth what happened to Jason. Hell of a
He didn't say anything
disappointing
other
night.
than he was just leaving.
All righty, copy that. Well, I tell you what, great job out here tonight, and a great job there for Kicking Asphalt. I'm going to talk to Dave, and I'm going to have Dave tell us all about Kicking Asphalt.
Hi, buddy. Appreciate it. Talk to you later.
How about it, Dave? You got a copy?
Hey Scott, how are you?
What a run out there tonight, buddy. Talk to me about it.
Oh, when that last run there, after the last pit stop, me and Lee Ryerson, we had a battle going on. I was lifting early, braking, trying to save those tires, and in the long run, it paid off.
All righty, that was sure great to see some green flag racing out there. Now, I was talking to your teammate there, Kevin Scott, and I told him that I wanted to hear a little bit about Kicking Asphalt. Tell us all about Kicking Asphalt.
Well, we got Paul Pellissier, Jason Russo, myself, Kevin Scott Nelson, and John Henderson, 5-man team. You know, we worked together, and you know, me and Kevin worked together tonight for a while, and you know, we enjoy being together and racing together.
All right, well, I tell you what, I know Paul's going to be pretty proud of you as the founder of Kicking Asphalt. You guys did a great job, and you definitely did kick around some asphalt tonight. Congratulations on your number 2.
Thank you, sir.
And our race winner for the night, how about it, Edward Bray? You got a copy?
How about it, Scott?
I'll tell you what, you know, you had one hell of a run out here tonight. You led the most laps. You passed up Lee Ryerson for leading the most laps by 11 laps. Talk to me about you and Michigan's relationship tonight.
I definitely didn't expect to take the win. I knew that my teammate Lee Staples, he had a great car. Tires held out definitely a lot longer than me. So I figured it, you know, he definitely would stay up front. I figured that Jason was going to be my next competition because he kind of put it to me pretty quick. And then something happened. I'm not sure exactly what happened. I guess he got in a wreck. And then I know that second to the last pit stop, I shot out like a rocket past Lee, and I'm not exactly sure what happened to him. I know that he was shooting across the track. So from there, it was just, you know, hanging on and trying to save fuel so I can make it to the end.
All right, now tonight we were in the Xfinity class. Tomorrow night we're going to be over there in the pickup trucks. Do you think we're going to have the same type of caution-free racing, or are the trucks going to offer more of a challenge?
I think we should have a caution-free night tomorrow night. I mean, we have a little bit more speed here with the Xfinity cars. The trucks, we should be able to take the turns a little bit flat-footed, just a little. I'll have to burp the throttle some, and but other than that, I do believe that we should have a caution-free night tomorrow night.
All right, well, I tell you what, you winning out here tonight, that's what it's all about. And in the point chase, that is definitely going to keep you up there in that #1 spot. Good job to Black Talon Racing, and a great job to Edward Bray. Congratulations.
Thanks, Scott, and thank you for all you do.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to flash up those race results in our summary, but I tell you what a night out here for all of these racers here at KMA Racing, the KMA League. Caution-free out here tonight. You can't beat that. Edward Bray coming down with a brilliant win. Really going to help him out in that point chase, although he is up there #1. He's going to stay up there at #1. A couple of drivers are going to fall down. A couple of drivers are going to raise up. And we're going to do it again tomorrow night in the Chevy Silverados and the Toyota Tundras. Flash up those race results, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to head on out of here. I am Scott Kolovic, your announcer for the evening, and we'll catch you tomorrow night.